And welcome back to today's Retirees with Certified Financial Planner Wayne Maslyk of Great Lakes Benefits and Wealth Management. You know, if you do not have a certified financial planner or a family advisor for your finances, that's what Wayne does. I mean, that's what your goal is to help families navigate their financial plan so that when they get to a certain age, they can live comfortably and maybe, if they want to, leave a little bit for their children or grandchildren. Is that pretty much what is that pretty correct?
I mean, for the most part. I mean, there's people want to do retirement differently. You know, so everyone has a different picture of retirement. But yeah, I'm like, it's almost like a coach. You know, hey, did you take that trip to Alaska yet that you've always talked about? Yeah. And, not yet. So I write in our review, haven't went to Alaska yet. Yeah. So are you going to do it? That type of thing. But even, so one of the things I asked on the very first meeting when I go through their family makeup, how many kids, grandkids, all that, I said, are there any special needs with any of your kids or grandkids? I mean, it's a big question. When you're setting up your estate plan, how the money's going to flow when you pass, if money goes to a special needs person and they're getting any type of assistance from the government or whatever, they're going to lose that.
Sure.
Or if one of their children may potentially be in a nursing home because they're fighting a disease or something, you can't leave that child money outright because it's just going to get eaten up in a nursing home. So there's certain things you have to do. A broker doesn't ask them that. Insurance, they don't care. They just want to give them investments. They're not a planner, and that's not necessarily a negative thing. It's just not what they do.
Sure.
So you need a planner. You need someone that covers all aspects of the retirement and estate plan.
Because you also recommend and you help folks put together, we talked about this in the past with power of attorneys and medical power of attorney, all of that you work with.
Well, I make sure they have them.
Right, yeah, I mean, you don't actually do that.
Right, I'm not an attorney, but, we do have a local attorney or two that I recommend or send people to, but they certainly go to their own attorney, but I like to review the will and trust before they sign it. Once they do, I make sure everything we talked about, that's the way the attorney wrote it. Yeah. It's funny, many times it's not. This is what this says. And they're like, really? We told them we didn't want that, So when we fix it.
Sure. But that's good, like you were saying earlier segment, this second opinion, this, to look at things, when we are as a family unit looking at this, we get so close to it, we don't see things. It's like when you're writing something and you have and you proofread your own work, you see things that you meant to put in there even though they aren't there.
Right, absolutely. And, a simple word, means a lot when you're doing like a trust or your will. For instance, let's just say, you don't want your child to get a hunk of money before they're 25, as an example. So you can have verbiage in your trust or will that says if any of my children are under the age of 25, you could say a trust shall be set up to control money in this way. Or it may say a trust may be set up, right? Or you can say a trust must be set up.
Okay.
There's a lot of leeway between may and must.
Sure. And
then depending on how the trustee you chose to what's the word I'm looking for, to manage the trust, they may say, well, mom said may be set up. That doesn't mean I have to do it. Right. When mom says it must be set up or shall be set up. Sure. So there's just little words like that mean a lot, and you really have to spend some time making sure that your will and trust say exactly what you want to happen. Oh, absolutely.
Now, when you meet with your clients, I know that you have a list of things that you sort of give to your client, if my memory is correct, that they sort of, like a checklist to go through. Do you have X? Do you have X? Do you have X? Are you still do that? You still provide that with your clients on the first meeting and those kind of things?
Yes. Yep. Whenever we meet with a client the first time, I gather basic info. It's kind of a snapshot. Where they work, Are they retired? Do they have children? Do they have grandkids, great-grandkids? Get their address, their email, their phone numbers. Talk about their legal documents. Do they have wills, trusts, power of attorneys, living wills? Do they have life insurance? Then we go through assets. And we go through the home. Do they have a home? Do they have a business? Do they have land? Do they have timeshares? Do they have collectibles, cars, motorcycles, boats, coins, antiques, whatever? Then we get into debt. Do they have any debt? Do they have any pensions in the future? Do they know what their Social Security benefits are going to be?
Sure.
If they're working, what do they make? I get into all that stuff.
Right.
First, and that tells me where they're at up to this point. So whoever they're working with, this is what that person got them to.
Right.
And rarely is everything cool. I mean, rarely. Once in a while it happens.
Yeah.
Once in a while. I met with one of my kids from high school, one of their parents, and went through everything. And the first meeting, and that it may be the only time, but this person had everything.
Wow.
Just very commendable.
Yeah.
It was like, hey, can you help me with my planning? You're pretty good.
You're looking for a job?
Yeah, and they're friends. Yeah, but it was just, they did not need to see me. They didn't need me for anything. It was apparent I could not bring any value to that person.
Right.
Because they really knew what they were doing. It's rare.
Sure.
1 out of 300 probably.
Well, it's not our expertise. We're in the working career. We're doing X. We're not doing this.
Yeah, but he didn't do that for a living. How did he get so good at that? He was better at it than I was.
Well, there are certain people that just have knowledge, that are just good at these things.
But most people I can bring value to.
Sure, absolutely. Well, friends, listen, pick up the phone or go to Wayne's website. The phone number is 866-626-3990, 866-626-3990. Or you can go to the website, todaysretirees.com. When you go to that website, all of this information is there. How to contact Wayne is there. You can click on and look at a lot of these segments and get information about various topics we've talked about through the previous months and years. But it's just chock full of all kinds of information that you will find interesting, and you can share that with neighbors, friends, relatives to help them as well. We're out of time for this segment, but we'll see you the next time.